Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have an arena event. Tommy Gobblers versus Quantum Eraser. Hello, Tommy. How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good, thanks. And how are you, Quantum? Are you doing well this evening?
I had a rough day.
Oh, well, that's not a good thing for Tommy.
Good to hear.
I was expecting a debate, so I had like time slots for people to talk and all the rest. Are we just not going to do any of that?
No, it's going to be a documentary. He's just going to ask questions, and I don't foresee any problems with control of this thing. So I guess the floor is Tommy's. We can get started.
Yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
So right off the bat, just to get a better idea of your beliefs, just a few questions, answer true or false, and we could probably discuss them in depth afterward.
Okay.
Basically, the idea is going to be I'm going to maybe propose some hard critiques that the round earthers would have of the flat earth, to give you an opportunity not just to propose your ideas, but to also defend some heavier critiques. Is that fair?
Let's roll.
Okay. So then these might sound a little silly, but it's in the interest of the documentary. So, is NASA lying to us?
Is NASA lying? They would have to be, because it's either they're lying or the second law of thermodynamics is false.
Okay. If we can just do a bit of a rapid fire here, because I presume most of your answers will be no. Is the Earth rotating?
Negative.
Is it rotating around the sun?
Negative.
Is the universe heliocentric or geocentric?
Geocentric.
Is the atmosphere real?
Atmosphere is a paradox. It's a contradiction in terms.
Okay. Do density gradients exist?
Density gradients? You'd have to get more specific.
So is there a density gradient from, the top of the atmosphere all the way down to the surface of the Earth?
Is there, a pressure gradient? I guess you could say density. That's fine. I'll take it. Yes.
So yes? Okay. Is outer space real?
Space is real. The vacuum of space is not.
Okay. Are the stars real?
What are stars?
Fair enough. Is gravity real?
Gravity has never been scientifically validated.
So is buoyancy real?
I'm not a density buoyancy guy, but
Okay.
but let me rephrase that. Density is the cause of buoyancy. So relative density. How about that?
Fair enough. Is there kind of a container effect around the Earth?
Must be a container, or the second law of thermodynamics is false.
Is the container effect caused by gravity?
No, gravity doesn't exist, and gravity's not a physical barrier.
Okay. Are eclipses real?
Solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, are they real? See, this is a little tricky, because their definition of the lunar and solar eclipses are not. Their explanations? How about that?
Their explanations are fake. However, you're not disputing the fact that a shadow does get cast over Earth, or a shadow.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that either. You can't validate that scientifically.
You can't validate that a shadow has been cast over the Earth due to
you cannot scientifically validate eclipses. No.
Okay. Are seasons real?
Seasons? Yeah. Yes. I experience seasons here in Missouri.
Right, great. And final question. Is the flat Earth real?
Is the flat Earth real? The Earth is flat, motionless, domed, and geocentric.
Okay. So you believe in a flat Earth?
I'm losing your mic. I'm losing your mic. Get close to your mic.
Okay. So just to be clear, you believe in a flat Earth, not like a concave or a convex or a hollow, anything like that. It's a flat Earth.
Negative. I don't believe in anything. I know the Earth is flat, non-spinning, domed, and geocentric.
Okay. Do you have any empirical evidence that the Earth is flat?
Yes.
What is it?
Black Swan. I'm going to go through 3 arguments. I'd like to start out with the big picture and then come back to flat Earth. So we'll destroy the entire heliocentric model quickly. Then we'll come to the Earth's rotation, and then we'll come to whether the Earth is flat or not. How about that?
Sounds good.
So it was in response to your previous question concerning the gas pressure gradient, right?
Yeah. Okay. You're responding to that?
Yes. The entire heliocentric model is based on a vacuum. You can't have gas pressure adjacent to a vacuum, a 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum, without a physical barrier, without bludgeoning to a bloody pulp the second law of thermodynamics. Not even speaking to Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law, parts of Dalton's law.
So you're refusing that gravity is holding all of the air.
Gravity doesn't exist. Gravity doesn't exist. I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics. Gravity has no sway over the second law. Even if it did exist, it has no sway.
Okay, so can you go further into what is providing this container effect if it's not gravity?
If it's not gravity, gravity doesn't exist. I don't know what the container is. All I know is it has to be a physical barrier because we have gas pressure. Gas pressure is the compelling factor in the matter. Because
okay, go ahead.
Because to have gas pressure, you must have a container. That's the definition of gas pressure.
So you believe in a container, or you know
Negative.
that there's
Negative. I don't believe there's a container. I know there's one.
Okay, so you know there's a container, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
It has to be a physical. I don't know the makeup of it. I don't know the color of it. I don't know what its tail smells like. All I know, it's a necessary antecedent consequent. I'll give you a scenario. Right? If somebody slaps a filet mignon down on my plate, then I know with absolute certainty that a cow must exist. Do you follow? I don't need to know the color of the cow. I don't need to know where the cow is. I don't need to know the name, how big it is, how fat it is. But if I see that filet mignon, then that cow must exist somewhere. Necessary antecedent, consequent. Follow?
I follow. So if you don't have an explanation for what the container is, why do you not believe?
No. That wouldn't be an explanation. That would be a description. Do you know the difference between a description and an explanation?
If you don't have a description of what the container is, why do you refuse to believe that it is gravity?
It's a physical barrier. You're not listening to me. Gravity, we're going to get to gravity here in a little bit. I already told you gravity doesn't exist. Even if it did, it doesn't hold sway over the second law of thermodynamics. Number one, just because I can't describe the container, I guess you didn't listen to my discussion for the last 2 minutes. It's a necessary antecedent consequent. It's based on the definition of gas pressure and the second law of thermodynamics. I know there must be a container.
So I'd like to step in with just, something that globe earthers would respond to with, saying gravity would violate the second law of thermodynamics. They might argue that it does not violate the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics being that, you can't have a net decrease in entropy. Am I correct?
You can't have a net decrease in entropy. Entropy only goes one way in nature.
So that's what the second law is, right? A common globe earther rationalization for why the gravity being the barrier would not be breaking the second law of thermodynamics.
Time out. Stop. You have to validate gravity first. Right? Gravity, even if I gave you, there's 2 types of gravity in the narrative. Now, one was superseded 106 years ago, but the Globers still bring it up. It's Newtonian gravity. right? So you got Newtonian gravity and you got Einstein's bendy space-time. I could give you all of Newtonian gravity, everything you want, all the force in the whole world times a billion. Then I'm going to give you Einstein's general relativity, the bendy space-time. I'm going to give you a billion times of that. We're going to times them both together. You can have all of them. It will not affect the entropy of gases one iota. Follow?
Okay, so now that we're in kind of this, I don't know, other dimension where we are agreeing that gravity exists, just, to humor the argument. Basically, the argument is that when you condense the particles, you decrease the local entropy of the system. And in this idea, you're completely
That's not
correct.
entropy. That's not
However,
entropy.
outside of the system, there is an increase in entropy, which accounts for the local decrease
That's negative.
in entropy.
Negative.
That's negative.
That's not
Okay,
entropy.
can you explain why?
I can explain why. You need to define entropy.
I need to define entropy. Okay.
Yep.
Let me just hop on Google. Okay. In statistical mechanics, entropy is a measure of the number of ways a system can be arranged, often taken to be a measure of disorder. The higher the entropy, the higher the disorder.
Incorrect. Entropy has nothing to do with order and disorder.
Okay. So what is entropy?
Do you need citation for that?
No, I don't need citation.
Okay. Nothing to do with order and disorder, so your definition of entropy is incorrect.
Okay, can you provide an alternate definition, please?
An alternate definition? I don't need to provide an alternate to anything. You haven't provided anything yet.
Right. You asked me for a definition of entropy.
I will.
Okay,
entropy. In classical thermodynamics, it's the dispersal of energy from localized to spread out at a given temperature. In molecular thermodynamics, it's a change in a system or surroundings or their total from which there are fewer accessible microstates to one in which there is an increased number of accessible microstates.
Okay, so using that definition,
let's kill it.
Can you explain why gravity would violate?
Gravity does not exist. How many times?
Right, we're still in the dimension where we're assuming, like, this was your proposition. We're in the dimension where we're assuming that gravity exists. Can you explain why it would?
I'm not assuming gravity exists. Sorry.
Can I just cut in for a second? This is meant to be an interview, right?
Right.
Said at the
so I'm
top
posing hard questions, and it's fine if you
said at the top. No, but you said at the top you were asking QE about his ideas. He's told you a number of times gravity doesn't exist. So I don't know why you keep referring to gravity.
He offered to kind of say he'll give me Newtonian gravity and he'll give me Einsteinian gravity, so I took it and ran with it. But we can move right back and talk about something else.
Okay, we can stick with QE. We can if you want. I don't mind.
If you want to invoke gravity, I have no problem. You're just going to have to scientifically validate the monkey.
Scientifically validated. Let's not go there because I'm not going to try and prove anything to you. I'm trying to get your ideas.
You're not trying to prove it to me. You got an audience here. You need to prove it to them. They're the jury.
No, but this is kind of an interview type deal, so I'm not going to really try and prove anything to you.
Let's just end it real quick. If you are in arena text right here, you can read along with me. This is from the legend in the second law of thermodynamics, Professor Lambert, from the entropysite.oxy.edu. Listen carefully. Gas expansion into a vacuum, the mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis. Each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy. Period. If we have a vacuum and we don't have a barrier, then it must increase in entropy, or it's a second law of thermodynamics violation. Prosecution rests right there.
How would you, counter globe earthers who say we're in that dimension again, when gravity attracts the air molecules
Objection,
or whatever?
Your Honor, gravity doesn't attract the air. That's bullshit. If gravity existed, like you said, it would never rain.
Why?
Because of evaporation.
Evaporation is due to the sun.
Evaporation.
Can you let me finish my earlier
when
point?
water? No, you're still going back to gravity, right? Now I'm going to kill it forever. That's what we were talking about. I'm going to kill it forever, right? You said What? Because of the sun? No, sunshine. Evaporation. When water evaporates, which vector does it go into?
It goes upwards.
Yeah. Bye-bye gravity.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
And would you not agree that when it goes up, it then cools and condenses and then falls as rain because it gets denser?
But that's liquid. That's not gas.
Right. So when it's gas,
false equivalence fallacy.
It's less dense, and we agreed, or we kind of.
No, let's go back. That's a false equivalence fallacy. You invoked a liquid. We were talking about gases. False equivalence.
No, I'm not equivocating liquid and gas.
I didn't say you're equivocating. I said false equivalence. That's not equivocation.
Okay. My apologies. All I was trying to get across was that a liquid is denser than gas.
So what?
That's why it's on the ground. And when it evaporates,
it doesn't have anything to do with the topic.
You brought this up.
Gases.
When it evaporates, its density becomes lower.
Referee. Objection.
Hello.
We're going to go to this point now because this guy's a cuck.
Right? Okay. Noted, I guess.
Objection. False equivalence fallacy. He's bringing the sun in, right? He's also bringing liquids, but the gases condense and falls liquid. Who cares? Red herring fallacy with it. Who gives a shit? That's not my point. The gases vector is up when your vector for gravity is only where?
So can I explain to you what buoyancy is?
Oh my God. Objection. Not answering the question, Your Honor.
Well, I need to explain to you buoyancy.
And also, I would remind you that it's an interview and not a debate. So if you want to debate, we can go into a debate format.
We could. I'd be okay with that.
Yep. If you're going to invoke, you'll be okay with that. You're already finished. You're finished. At 17 minutes after the hour, I provided a citation for you that said gas expansion into a vacuum is an increase in entropy. Well, the gas isn't expanding into the vacuum. That means entropy is decreasing. That's a second law of thermodynamics violation, son.
So I would counter that.
You can't counter it.
I can. And if you let me finish.
How can you counter it?
Okay. So assuming gravity exists, right?
False. Objection, Your Honor.
Let me finish, please. I am begging.
No, you're not finishing. I'm not allowing you to invoke frigging.
Okay, I won't say gravity. I won't say gravity. It's fine. Assuming the air molecules are brought down closer to the surface of the Earth due to whatever.
They're not.
Due to whatever. Okay.
They're not.
It would not be a decrease in entropy.
Yes, it would be. Objection, Your Honor.
Because the friction creates
Objection,
energy.
Your Honor.
Yeah, it seems like you're debating and not asking questions at this point.
Oh, right. We can go to a debate. That's fine.
I thought we agreed that we were kind of going into a debate.
That's fine.
I mean, if you'd like to moderate it, if we can set it up.
Cool. Well, we can debate if you want. Yeah, fine.
All right. Sounds good.
That's what we've been doing for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's me.
I went in to try and talk about some, globe Earth arguments to try and improve your argument, but I mean, we've gone down the rabbit hole at this point, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, you're just violating the second law of thermodynamics with every breath. Refute my citation.
Right, that's what I'm trying to do. You won't let me finish.
You're not. You're not trying to do it. You're saying that gas molecules are somehow attracted to the Earth. That's a decrease in entropy.
Right. So
you're saying you're starting out your sentence with imagine that citation doesn't exist.
Right.
Am I doing that? No, I'm looking at the citation right now. Okay. It's saying that there's no change in total energy due to a greater number of whatever. There is no change in total energy because when the air molecules are drawn in, the friction produces a heat, right? Heat is energy.
You said there is no energy. Objection, Your Honor.
Do you know what friction is?
Objection, Your Honor. He said there's no change in energy, and then he invoked heat.
Right. So
let me ask you a question. Can
the decrease in entropy.
Let me ask you a question, son.
It's not expanding into the vacuum.
Don't interrupt me.
Okay, I would ask that you don't interrupt me as well. Moving forward.
Fuck off. You little fucking clown, you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Don't interrupt you. While you bludgeon to death the second law of thermodynamics, you're reading half of the definition. You didn't know what entropy was to begin with. And now you're conjuring these gas molecules with friction. What the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Okay, so please, I'm trying to explain this to you.
You can't explain it. You didn't even know what entropy was.
So please let me finish. Don't interrupt me. Okay.
Fuck you.
Noted. Can I move on?
No, you can't. You have to deal with the increasing entropy of gases.
Right, that's what I'm trying to do, and you're not letting me finish.
One objection at a time. You're causing objection upon objection upon objection. Take it back to the first objection, then finish your sentence. You have to deal with each part of it. You can't just build. You can't just add stuff to the story. Does that make sense?
As the moderator, can you take me back to the first objection, and then I can talk about it?
Sure. Well, I can do that, but I mean, what was the first objection, QE? Because you said objection.
Yes,
but...
he brought the gas molecules down by some imaginary means in the atmosphere.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and then said let's assume gravity. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, we can't do that. Do you know why?
Can I counter that? So basically, QE is saying that there is a drawing of the gases in the atmosphere. That's what he's saying. That's why he's saying there's a counter into the second law of thermodynamics.
Say again? Objection. I didn't say that.
You're saying that that's what's breaking the second law of thermodynamics, is that the gases are being drawn into the earth.
Yeah, you're conjuring of the gases being drawn into the earth is the second law of thermodynamics violation, yes.
Right. So when I respond, it's not, I'm not making anything up. I'm actually responding to your objection.
No, you're not.
How?
What causes the gas molecules to decrease entropy?
That's not your question. That's not even related to the question.
Yes, it is.
No. Okay. So if your question is what is drawing them in, we can talk about that.
Yeah, because you said that something was drawing them in. So what is it?
No, you're saying that it's drawing it in. You're saying.
Oh, for fuck, this guy.
No. Sorry, I'm sorry, but you're saying that this theory is breaking the second law of thermodynamics because there's a force drawing it in.
Objection, Your Honor. He invoked a theory. What theory am I saying that is drawing?
The theory of gravity.
The theory of gravity.
Or the theory that there's a container, or the theory that there is some force pulling.
That's not a theory. That's
not a theory. You don't know what is a scientific theory?
What is a scientific theory?
Yep.
This seems kind of like a red herring. Can we?
A red herring? You invoked a theory. I'm asking you what it is. How in the fuck can it be a diversion or irrelevant?
Well, we're not talking about what is a scientific theory. We're talking about what the actual specific theory is.
Oh my God, you Elmer sophist.
Can I just
objection, Your Honor?
Yeah, can I just get in with a? Okay, so we surely would need to know what a theory is in order to then discuss theories, correct?
Yep.
We need to know what a theory is.
Yeah, because otherwise you can't discuss theories without knowing what they are.
A scientific theory, by the way, not just a theory.
I don't
scientific theory. Yeah. There is no scientific theory of gravity to begin with, but go ahead.
Right.
So, I mean, do you agree with that? You have to know what a scientific theory is before you can discuss them. Right?
Okay, so I'll tell you what a scientific theory is.
Do you agree with that?
We'll go down this road. I'll agree. Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what a scientific theory is. Okay, so scientific theory is an explanation of an aspect of the natural world and universe that can be repeatedly tested and verified in accordance with the scientific method using accepted protocols of observation.
No, not observation, experiment. Accepted protocols of observation. That's horse shit. Okay, scientific experiment.
Okay, so you've helped me define it now. Can we move on?
No, you didn't define it correctly. Accepted protocols of observation? What do you mean? One with goggles on, one with one eye shut, squinting? That's not the definition of a scientific theory.
You're talking about fallacies and then you blow this out of the water like this? Dude, can we get back on track with the conversation?
I'm talking about fallacies and I blow that out of the water? Yeah, because it's not the definition. I'd like to direct everyone's attention to
Flat Earth Marine Tech.
Shut up. Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said his Google definition that he just Googled, he hesitated and caused a ruckus so he could go look it up. Your definition of a scientific theory was incorrect. Mr. Scientific Method of Validated Protocols of Observation. That's not a scientific theory, son.
I didn't.
From chemistry about.
Say that. I actually didn't say that.
Yeah, you did say that. Everyone heard it.
I can repeat exactly what I said.
Everyone heard it. Shut the fuck up. Objection.
Can we please
Maybe you can repeat
dial back the language? This doesn't seem like
fucking heard
it. Tommy, how about you repeat what you said if you feel like you've been strawmanned? Repeat what you said.
Okay, so what I said exactly to the word, a scientific theory is an explanation of an aspect of the natural world and universe that can be repeatedly tested and verified in accordance with the scientific method using the accepted protocols of observation, measurement, and evaluation of results.
You stopped at observation, and it's not measurement either.
You cut me off.
So, you didn't have experiment in there. Your definition of a scientific theory is incorrect.
Okay, so what would you... if you define an experiment...
Shut up! At 29 minutes after the hour, scientific theory. See if this sounds familiar to anything he just said. A scientific theory from physics about, or chemistry about, sorry. Scientific theory summarizes a hypothesis or group of hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. You didn't say any of that. From quarks to quasars, scientific theory consists of one or more hypotheses that have been supported with repeated testing. Repeated echo,
I didn't say that. I said it can be repeatedly tested.
Shut up!
I'm sorry, but you're just saying lies.
Up! I'll tell you what, you little crayon muncher. You're going to have some discipline in here when I'm fucking deconstructing your bullshit. And moderator, I had an objection. He can't get inside that objection until I'm done.
Sure, I just wanted him to restate what he said earlier. Because
he did twice. None of it had hypotheses.
I'm satisfied with that.
None of it had hypotheses. None of it had experiments. That's what it is. A scientific American. Scientific theory is an explanation of some aspect of the natural world that has been substantiated by repeated experiments and testing. Last one, University of Rochester Physics Labs. A scientific theory represents a hypothesis or group of related hypotheses which has been confirmed through repeated experimental tests.
Right, so can I respond to that, please?
So, conclusion.
Because I said repeatedly tested.
You didn't know what the second law of thermodynamics was.
Okay, so I would just say that we were...
No, hold on. I'm writing these down.
Second. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just say, we were discussing a scientific theory. Are you satisfied that he knows what a scientific theory is? If so, can we talk about that now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead.
He keeps on invoking gravity. Give me the scientific theory of gravity.
I'm not going to do that.
You lose.
We were never talking about...
dare. So don't you dare invoke gravity again until you can scientifically validate it. You can move on.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead then, Tommy, with another point?
Right. So are we just going to change courses entirely, or where are we going back to?
Nothing. We started with the second law of thermodynamics, an increase in entropy, which you didn't know what it was. And then you brought gases down, decreasing in entropy.
Your interview.
Just by fiat. I'll just bring gases down. Right?
Okay.
What the hell is that? That's a second law of thermodynamics violation.
Okay, so can I ask you
Can I just make an observation as just like someone that has been doing this for like 4 years? Dude, you're trying to wing it, and I don't know why you got the idea that you could just come in here and wing it and have to Google definitions and like have a half-ass understanding of basic physics. Like, I don't know why you thought that would actually work.
I didn't think that. And if I could continue...
I mean, you should have bet. I would go back to the interview format. Because you don't understand the so-called theory of gravity. You don't even have a mediocre understanding it. You don't have almost no understanding of thermodynamics.
I'm not going to claim gravity.
I'm just telling you. Listen. Listen, I'm just telling you, you don't have it, right? You have maybe a high school level understanding. Maybe.
Okay.
And it's obvious to everybody here, and that's why QE is getting mad and he's yelling and swearing at you. Because you're trying to make shit up as you go along. You've cited nothing, right? You see QE's posting citations. I'm just trying to give you advice, right? Because listen, to be honest, I'm not all hip on the screaming and swearing and shit, but I understand why he's pissed off, because I get pissed off over the same things. He's posting citations. You're trying to make shit up out of your head. Okay? That's a big difference. So I would suggest find actual citations to back up what you're saying, like the thermodynamic theory of gravity or something, where gravity affects thermodynamics, and these would be like experiments or something like that. These don't exist because so-called gravity has no effect on the thermodynamics of gases. There's no experiments that demonstrate it does.
Right, and that's why I never...
Oh, it's a theoretical exercise that gravity pulls gas down to the earth.
Well, he invoked the theoretical exercise.
It's the second law of thermodynamics is Einstein called it the pillar of science, one of the three pillars of science. The second law of thermodynamics is so well known and so well thought out, and there's so many formulations of it. It beggars belief. That's not a theoretical exercise. It can all be demonstrated with experiments. At infinitum. Mass attracts mass, things like that. That the gas of the air gets pulled down to Earth and somehow violates. We can disprove this with a simple experiment. I didn't try to get involved to debate you. Listen, I didn't try to get involved to debate you, okay? This is not why I made a comment. Listen, I'm trying to help you so we can change the tenor of the conversation, okay? You don't really know what you're talking about.
I think there's far too much interrupting.
Yes, I'm trying to change the interrupting and the swearing and shit, dude. That's what I want to stop.
I was trying to give you advice.
So we can have.
I'm trying to give you advice. I'm like, you don't like. I really am trying. I'm the admin on the server, so I'm really just trying to give you advice. This is going out on YouTube, and I'm just trying to give you advice on why I'm trying to explain to you why he's pissed. I'd be pissed too. You don't really know what you're talking about, so I would suggest actually doing an actual interview instead of trying to do a stealth debate.
Stealth debate.
Stealth debate, saying you're doing an interview, but actually,
listen,
I've never seen an interview where the interviewer was argumentative with the person being interviewed.
Can I talk for 5 seconds without?
Yeah, go for it.
Interrupting me? Okay. I just want to say a debate is more than just simple refutation, and that's all that's happened right now. Okay. Can we discuss the actual topic, please? We're getting off track every 3 seconds with red herrings and objection, Your Honor, and shut up.
From you. Stop causing it.
Did you just hear what I just said?
No, he didn't. Stop causing those
explain
things.
to you why that's happening. Because you're just making shit up, dude, and we all know it.
I'm not.
Everyone
some
knows.
of us here have college degrees, Many people on the server have university degrees, and we know bullshit when we hear it. We do know physics. I took physics 1 and 2 in university. You're making shit up as you go along, and we all know it. We've debated people with PhDs in physics on the server many times.
All right, so what have I made up?
That's why he is angry, because you're trying to bullshit your way through this and acting like somehow your opinion.
Tell me what I've made up.
The friction, the atmosphere creates friction, and all of a sudden the gas heats up, and that's actually an increase in entropy.
Do you know what friction is? Friction is
yes, I know what friction is.
Together.
Actually, do you actually want to know what it really is?
Do you want me to cite a source saying that friction is two things moving together? Okay,
when
air molecules move together because they're being drawn in, they're creating friction. I think.
Okay, I'm going to demonstrate this with one simple question. You tried to use a liquid. What's the difference between liquid and gas when it comes to entropy?
Okay, so the difference between liquid and gas is that they're different densities.
The difference between liquid and gas is the number of degrees of freedom in which the molecules can move. See, this is something very basic when it comes to entropy, because we're talking about microstates, right? And you gave your definition of entropy. It's the number of states something can take. Now, something with an infinite amount of degrees of freedom, such as a gas, is something with restricted degrees of freedom, like liquid, are not equivalent. Okay? So for you to even talk about them in an equivalent way shows you don't know what you're talking about. Do you understand that? I said they weren't.
I'm actually agreeing with you. And you're saying that I am saying the opposite to what you're saying. I made that.
The fact that you brought it up in the first place means you're just grasping at straws. It's called throwing shit against the wall, hoping something sticks. 2 seconds
without you interrupting me, okay? Because this is what happened, all right? QE brought up what is evaporation out of nowhere.
Objection. We don't want to hear your fucking color commentary about the conversation. Fuck that.
What is your name? Indio 007 has to do with color commentary on the conversation. And I like to speak for 5 seconds without being interrupted.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
No.
Where's the moderator in this?
You just had 5 seconds. You just had 5 seconds, and instead of asking for 5 seconds, you should have just took it.
I'm not listening to a fucking
30 seconds to say whatever you want.
Hey, Indio. I'm not listening to a color commentary rehash of his fucked up conversation. That's a typical ball tart. He's going to try to recreate history and shit. It's on tape. You didn't know what the second law of thermodynamics was. You didn't know what entropy was. You didn't know what a scientific theory was. You're a clusterfuck. Period.
No, I would just say. So Indio leapt in to try and help Tommy get a little bit more. Let's just say savvy. So, yeah, I guess I wasn't talking. Indio leapt in to try and give you some advice. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. Indio, if you don't mind putting yourself on mute.
Yeah. I was just trying to, I didn't like the tenor of it.
No, sure.
It was just...
I get it. But, yeah, so, look.
I'll shut up.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, exactly. You can only give advice so much, and if people don't want to take it, that's fine. I don't know if you've noticed, Indio, there's some pretty sweet memes going on about you in the arena text. Anyway, whatever. So Tommy, we're going to restart the debate from scratch. Okay, where would you like to start?
I'd like to start wherever QE wants to start.
Your science acumen.
Actually, if we could, I would like to start. We can move away from everything we've just talked about, and we can talk about, the seasons and the movement of the sun and moon. Can we go there? Is that allowed?
No. I want to go after your science acumen because you can't validate any of those things scientifically. I want to show that your science acumen is below third grader. Yeah, you better start interrupting me quick because it's going to get fucking nasty. I'm going to show, without a shadow of a doubt, that you have a science acumen below fifth grader. And shouldn't be in this discussion. You should be picking up cans alongside of the road. Okay? That's where we're going. Right? So, can natural science be conducted without experiment? Can natural science be conducted without experiment?
No.
For science to be conducted, for natural science to be conducted.
Sorry, you cut out there. Can you repeat yourself?
So, to have natural science, to be a natural science, you must have experiment. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think I said that.
Okay, that's correct. So, we have astronomy, astrophysics, and cosmology. Are they natural sciences?
No.
That's the correct answer. So, who is telling you about the heliocentric model, the globe Earth? Who is telling you that they are scientifically validated?
Actually, no one's told me that.
Astronomy, cosmology, and astrophysics.
Right, so can I respond?
Yeah.
Who is telling you that the geocentric model is scientifically accurate?
No one's telling me, and I didn't claim science.
So you're saying that there is no scientific argument that the Earth is flat.
You just compromised yourself.
I compromised myself?
Yeah, you did, because whether the Earth is flat or a sphere isn't a scientific inquiry available for investigation, because science only deals with suppositional predictions about cause and effect, how why questions. Whether the Earth is flat or a sphere is a what is question. It has nothing to do with science whatsoever.
Okay, so do you have any empirical evidence that the Earth is flat?
What does empirical mean?
It means it's been verified more than once in a lot
Incorrect.
of different ways.
That's not what empirical means. I asked you what empirical means. You better start typing real quick.
Why?
Because you don't know what it is. You just misdefined that. So let's add that to the other one. Empirical. You're using words you don't know their meanings. Empirical means observable, testable, repeatable, and falsifiable.
Right, so I said repeatable.
It's the summary.
Do you think I didn't mean test?
You said it's repeatable, right? But that's not the whole thing, so that's a composition fallacy.
Do you think I didn't mean an observable test?
So that's a composition fallacy. You're not weaseling out of this. You're finished.
Okay.
Didn't know.
So, all right. So you don't have any empirical evidence that the Earth is flat?
I don't have scientific. When you say empirical, that's the summary of the scientific method. I do not have science because this is outside the remit of science.
Right. So what do you have?
Logical consistency.
Logical
and
consistency.
Demonstration.
Can you explain your logical consistency?
Logical, yes. We can move to the black swan. Sure. Yep. 1 second. Are you in live stream?
Yeah, let me get there. Yeah.
The Flat Earth Arena Text live stream.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Stop typing, guys. Appreciate that. So, logical consistency, like I said. Oh, Tommy, you made a big mistake. You know that second photograph that you just posted right there? That's a black swan also. We'll get to that. So, at 46 minutes after the hour, is somebody feeding you information, Tommy?
I just like, before we even get into this, I'd just like to say, how can you bring up any evidence, whether it be representative of a lack of curvature or imaging of a flat Earth? How can you say it's any more credible than NASA pictures, live streams, or
NASA pictures live stream? Yeah, right. So NASA pictures live. Number one, yeah, I'm gonna fucking tell you, shut up. Number one, you don't have any pictures or photos. They have images from a second law of thermodynamics violation. There goes your whole fucking proof right there. Now we're on to the black swan.
Listen, man, if you
shut up, don't tell me to listen.
If you swear, interrupt, or
don't
do
be
it
red herring fallacy away from this.
That isn't like, can we have a mature debate?
Shut up!
If you swear, interrupt me again, I'm just gonna leave.
Tell you what, you're fucking get the fuck out of here then. You asked me for a flat earth proof, then you red herring fallacied away, and then you're fucking giving me ultimatums? Carry your dumb ass out of here before I slap you, you half a sissy. You tracking with me, sunshine? Moderator.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and ahead and unmute him if he wants to leave by his own accord. He can do. But yeah, carry on.
Acknowledge what he just did.
I want to hear first, what is QE's response to the fact that...
Acknowledge what he just did, moderator.
Yeah, would you actually go ahead and respond to what QE just said without going into something else?
Sorry, what did he say?
Oh my God.
Would you like to repeat yourself?
I'm not fucking repeating myself.
Well, I guess we're at an impasse because I'm not doing it.
That's right. He's not paying a fucking attention. He doesn't know his ass from a pipe wrench. He just asked me for flat earth.
I'm actually watching the baseball game right now.
That's
far
what
more
I'm
interesting, this
about.
Conversation.
You're a pretender clown.
Oh, this is a waste of time then if you're doing something else.
Listen, I want QE to explain to me why any propaganda.
Can you mute this guy? We spent time doing this, and we can't keep this up.
One second. Yeah, if you're doing something else, then you're wasting everyone's time. So politely fuck off. Like you've got how many people? 65 people in this chat, and you're wasting everyone's time. So thanks for that.
Clown.
We really thought that this was going to be good.
Yep. He's finished.
And we started out okay, but then it switched to a debate, and that really changed the whole scenario.
Hey, Tommy, just before you go, let me send something with you, you little clown shit. You're probably being fed, too, I can tell. You see your little photo right there? Do you ever hear the saying, know your enemy? Look at 49 minutes after the hour, fucktard. I've used that same photo since the beginning. My first presentation, I used that same photo. You posted it like it was some type of gotcha. I had that photo in my presentation for the first one, from the word go. Did you know that second photo that you posted is a black swan? Crayon muncher. Bet you don't know it because you don't know the black swan because you red herring fallacied away from it after you asked me about it because you knew you were done. As soon as I said logical consistency and I said black swan, that's when you knew your goose was cooked. Gobblers, gobble on this. Clown. That's it. I can summarize. Pretender clown numpty dipshit fuckwit didn't know what the second law of thermodynamics was. He didn't know what entropy was. He misdefined it. He just parroted it right off Wiki, which is incorrect. He didn't know what a scientific theory was, and he didn't know what empirical was. Game, set, match.
Yeah, I just unmuted Tommy because I want him to admit, well, at least let us know that he's switched off the baseball game. And if not, I'm just going to go ahead and ban him because you're wasting everyone's time.
Baseball game's off. Okay, cool. If I could get back to the point I was making earlier. How can you respond, okay, to the lack of credibility that any photo you bring up has? Hello? I got kicked again. Jesus H. Christ.
No.
Hello? Is anyone there?
No, you didn't get kicked.
You're here.
QE might have left.
Can you respond to that?
Oh, there it
Can
is.
you respond to
He's not going to save you. The Lord and Savior is not going to save you here.
No
you
images.
Fucking retard. False equivalence fallacy. My photo right here is on Earth. Your photos, which are not photos, are from a second law of thermodynamics violation, Narnia. False equivalence fallacy. Textbook.
Are those just as...
Textbook. Deal with that.
Are photos of curvature of the Earth also
deal with that.
Just as viable?
Okay, this objection, Your Honor, he's not dealing with the...
You can't objection. Bring up your own propaganda and then say that all other propaganda that is against you is completely wrong.
You're done. Fuck off.